How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting, and welcome back to what could possibly be. It's great. Everything's wonderful in Higurashi. Everything in Hinamizawa is perfect. We just got saved by our friends from burning our house down on accident with a grease fire. It's just been wonderful, right? Nothing could possibly go wrong. I keep getting so many comments from you people saying like, "Oh boy, here we go! One of my favorites." It's like, I feel like everyone's had, like, there's somebody who's always liked every chapter, but I'm real excited now to see, because if the first two chapters were good, but this one's better, should be interesting. So let's see how it goes. There's a lot of also, like, I don't know. We all know bad things will happen. It's kind of what Higurashi's all about, right? But you all are making it seem like it's going to get real bad, so this will be fun. All right, let's just jump right into it. There's not much else to say. It's just time to... We've gotten to know Satoko a lot more, and that's going to be good for us. So let's proceed forth and see what happens now. So, jump right in. That laughter lightened up the table. The table itself is so dull and simple that I never even thought people could be laughing like this around it. And then, I finally came to realize something really obvious.
笑いながら食べる食事って美味しいよな。
もちろんなのですよ。笑いはご飯を美味しくするのです。
Oh, actually, I remembered real quick. I think I did notice something about the music. Yeah. When I was doing the editing, the music was a little loud for the voices, so like I'll tell you, I fixed that.
失礼ですわね。ご飯が美味しいのは私のお料理が美味しいからに決まってますわよ。
This harmonious moment, this happy circle, was completely different than spending time with family, but still somehow nostalgic.
さとこはニーニーに会いたいか？
ニーニーなんて言ってませんですわ。兄とお呼びなさいですわ。
Hey, wait, you've been saying Nini this, Nini that this whole time. I grinned wryly and decided to just call him brother like she told me to.
さとこは兄貴に会いたいか？
Rika-chan stopped eating, then looked back and forth between my face and Satoko's. Satoko was smiling. She looked like she was trying to choose her words. Just from that, Satoko conveyed her feelings. Honestly, she wished he would come home right now. But she wasn't that weak. Satoshi should just do what he wanted until he was satisfied. In return, she'd let him have the scolding of his lifetime. And then she'd have dinner with him, lay out his futon for him.
会いたいかと言われれば、もちろん会いたいに決まってますわね。もうすぐで1年になりますもの。
It's been that long already. Rika-chan smiled thinly, her eyes appearing to look far away.
まあ、ニーニーの好きにすればいいのですわ。少しでも生活力を身につけて、たくましくなって帰ってきてくれれば、私の負担も軽くなるわけですし。
Yeah, if their parents are gone, it's kind of sad that he left, but I imagine there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, remember, at least in the first chapter, it sounded like he was paranoid that he was going to be destroyed or taken out by the town, so I could get why he might leave if that was still the case, and they maintained that as the canon for this game, for this chapter at least. But I'm not so sure. Wouldn't it be kind of crazy? Like, part of me thinks he's just gone, but like, if I'm going to guess at a curveball, what if he's actually alive, and what if he comes back? That would be really interesting, because I'm not sure what that would mean. Like, what would that take us, and what would happen then? Huh.
ほら、またニーニーって言った。
言いましたですね。言ってませんわよ。ニーニーのことをニーニーなんて言いませんわよ。
Things rapidly returned to the usual, lively atmosphere of a lunchtime at school. But nothing changed about Satoko's feelings toward her brother. She was living so bravely and so strongly. Hey, Satoshi, your sister's trying so hard to watch the place while you're gone, isn't she? Give it a rest. Come back soon, got it?
さとこ、そろそろお片付けをしないとお眠になる時間なのです。
It was when we were all watching TV while enjoying some tea after dinner. Rika-chan let out a big yawn and then spoke. Satoko and I both looked at the clock and noticed how late it had gotten. No, perhaps we both realized it already. We just didn't want this warm moment to end. Maybe we didn't want to say anything.
いけませんわね。まだ食器を洗っていませんでしたわ。
いいよ、そんなの。それくらい俺がやっておくよ。飯をごちそうになって、食器まで洗わせるわけにはいかないよ。
Good man.
本当に大丈夫ですの？
Of course.
慣れない人が洗うと、お皿とか洗剤で滑って落としちゃいますわよ。
Well, at least I won't burn the house down by dropping soap or something. Gee, she turned into a perfect nagging little sister. It was charming and awkward. Emotions like that were all mixed up inside me. It gave her a vague, dry smile.
圭一だって、お皿くらい洗えますですよ。割ったお皿で怪我をしたら、明日学校でかわいそしてあげますです。
Oh, there I go. See?
わー
Rika-chan yawned again, so wide you could see her molars.
本当に大丈夫ですの？圭一さんって見かけと違って、随分と頼りない方でございますからね。
Hey.
やれやれ。聡子の中の圭一株は大暴落みたいだな。安心しろ。皿くらいきっちりと洗ってみせるぞ。安心して帰れ。っていうか、こんな時間じゃ聡子たちだけに帰らせられないよな。家まで送るよ。自転車の鍵を。
私たちを送った後、一人で家に帰るのは圭一さんではありませんの。
Yeah, but that's okay.
夜道に迷って、高津戸あたりに迷い込んだら大変ですのよ。あのあたり、お家も明かりも全然ありませんから。
Wait, Takasudo. Have we heard about that? That doesn't sound familiar. I was trying to worry about them going home, but I didn't think they'd be worrying about me getting lost. Am I really that unreliable? She really is being critical, but yeah. This feeling I have, it's not bad. So I ended up not needing to escort them. I saw off Satoko and Rika-chan to the gate.
今日は本当にありがとうな。おかげでとても文化的な夕飯にありつけたよ。
聡子が来なかったら、今頃圭一はグーグーでニャーニャーだったのです。
Rika's still using that like that we're a cat. Like that does the same analogy she used before.
本当ですわね。本当来てよかったですわ。
They really saved me. I gave them another bow filled with gratitude.
そうそう。ご飯とおかずの残りをタッパーに詰めておきましたから、明日はそれをお弁当になさいませ。
Even then, like, I'd still be like, I'll take it with me, but I'm gonna forfeit. Like, I clearly didn't make this, and I'm not gonna try and, like, pretend like I'm going to win over you. I'd be like, I'll just take the punishment.
あと、明日の朝食は食パンとジャムがいいですわね。いちごジャムとピーナッツバターが冷蔵庫中段の右端にありましたわ。あと、粉末ココアが食器棚の右上の戸の中に。
I know all that. You don't have to go into detail. I was about to say that, but I decided to humbly listen to her. It was just then I finally realized that Satoko, who had appeared to be in a bad mood, was in fact in a great one, just like Rika-chan had said. And the thought that that though she nagged a lot, she was very kind.
では、おやすみなさいなのですよ。寝る前にはちゃんと歯を磨くんですよ。
Okay, okay.
5分以上かけてしっかりと磨きなさいませ。
わかったよ、聡子。ちゃんと歯も磨くし、明日の朝飯も用意する。弁当も忘れないようにするよ。
いつもより早めに起きないと朝食やお弁当の支度ができませんわよ。
She's right about that, actually.
なんなら少し早いくらいの時間に目覚まし代わりに電話して差し上げましょうか。
そこまでしてくれなくても大丈夫だよ。目覚まし時計を少し早めにセットしておくことにする。ありがとな。いろいろと気にしてくれて。
Satoko looked like she had more fault finding to do. But she stopped and, leaving me with a good night, got on her bike and disappeared down the nighttime road. Rika-chan went to do the same, but then remembered something and came back.
どうしたリカちゃん、忘れ物か？
今日の圭一は100点満点でした。
For what?
パチパチパチなのです。
What an enigma you are, Rika. Rika-chan suddenly complimented me. She clapped her small hands. What was she on about?
別に褒められるようなことはしてないだろう。
I think it's probably that he restrained himself and didn't, like, get all, like, snickery with Satoko or make fun of her or anything.
危うく自宅を火事にするところだったし。
聡子もきっとニーニーが帰ってきたような気がして、とても楽しかったと思いますです。たまにこれからも聡子のお小言に付き合ってあげてほしいのですよ。
聡子に小言を言われる頼りない兄貴。サトシの代わりになってやれっていうことか？
Rika-chan didn't say anything. She just smiled and went with all nipa.
サトシってさ、こんなにもできた妹と一緒で 何が不満だったんだ？俺がサトシだったら絶対に家出なんかしないぞ。
サトシにはサトシなりの事情があったのです。
Yeah.
きっと。
I didn't know what he was unhappy with. But whatever the reason, it was no excuse for abandoning Satoko.
早く帰ってくるといいな。俺じゃ多分本物のニーニーの代役はいつまでも務まらないぜ。
I get the feeling that him coming back would be a real bad.
大丈夫ですよ。今日の圭一はサトシそっくりだったのです。またお願いしますなのですよ。
But burn my house down? If that's what would make Satoko happy, I'd take it on that easy role whenever I needed to.
リカ
Satoko stopped her bike under a distant exterior light and called out to her friend, who wasn't coming no matter how long she waited.
では僕はもう行きますですよ。おやすみなさいなのです。
あ、おやすみ。
Yes, me.
僕ではサトシの代わりをできませんが、圭一ならできます。これで僕も心の荷が一つ下りましたのですよ。
Dang, so it's not just like a request for Satoko's sake, but for her own sake. Leaving me at that, Rika-chan sped off on her bike. She rode up next to Satoko, then the two disappeared in the blink of an eye.
サトシ、本当に早く帰ってきてやれよな。あんまり帰りが遅かったら。
I'll punch you right in the nose. Let's try our best until that day comes, Satoko. Even if I could no longer hear the sound of their bicycles. I stood there for a while, seeing them off. Alright, now that's probably the actual end of the day. I probably could have done that last time, but I feel like it was already a really long episode, so I don't mind slapping it onto today. Oh, yeah. New tips. Satoko's Trap Course, Elementary. You're on fire. Yep. Alright, let's do the new tip. Oh gosh, listen to that. The music for the tips video is always like a little different. This one's real creepy, like Gregorian chat. Satoko's Trap Course, Elementary.
俺が保証する。サトコならこの山で籠城して一個師団相手くらいなら十分にあしらえるに違いない。
私は知ってるよ。サトコはとある国の特殊部隊に招聘されてトラップの訓練教官をやってたんだ。
That one country, what, like Vietnam?
そんな変な話はいいから誰か助けて。
Uh-oh, she actually caught a Rena, huh? How did it come to this? What traps did we fall for, and how did we fall for them? Mion was caught in a profusely thin pitfall she couldn't escape from, and only her head was poking above the ground. What? Rena's head was completely covered in a tin bucket. She was squirming around in vain attempt to remove it. Either of these was really funny, but that's where it ended. At least they had their feet on the ground.
ケイちゃんの方はどう？抜けられそう？早く抜け出しておじさんを助けてよ。
抜け出して助けるのはミオンの方だ。このスマッキ状態の俺に何をしろと言うんだ。
Says this in a net in a tree. I was wrapped up in bamboo mat and hanging 2 meters off the ground. What was this trap and how did I fall into it? Huh? It was Satoko. This all started when they suggested I was unfamiliar with nature, having grown up in the city, and proposed a little exploration on the mountain.
でもレナもよく裏山は知らないよ。レナじゃ迷子になっちゃう。は
あ。裏山ね。小さい頃はよく遊んだけど、ここ何年かはさっぱりだな。あそこ。道を誤るとかなりデンジャラスに迷うんだよな。
And the thing is, if this isn't just hyperbole, but these are actual traps that Satoko is able to rig up, like that actually is genuinely terrifying. Like those traps are like, they're inches away from lethal traps. Like they're snares at the minute, but like it wouldn't take much more to make them lethal, or even like just dangerous.
裏山なら私たちにお任せですわよ。山が丸ごと私とリカの遊び場なんですもの。ねえリカ。
おう、それは心強いな。じゃあここは二人の顔を立てて、二人の道案内でハイキングと行こうじゃないか。
I think I see how this all played out.
でもケイチ君、裏山は迷うから遊びに行っちゃいけないって夏休みのしおりにも書いてあるよ。
Is there such things as summer vacation guidebooks that they would hand out to kids? Maybe in the countryside that would make more sense. Like, be like, hey, here's some basic like don't kill yourself knowledge.
まだ だ夏休みではありませんですから大丈夫なのですよ。僕たちが道を
Oh, I clicked early, sorry.
昔から私たちの遊び場でございますもの。岩も同然。抜け道、近道までバッチリでございましたよ。
Yes, both Satoko and Rika knew the path like the back of their hands. Thanks to them, we had our fill of fresh air, gorgeous views, and Mother Nature, the likes of which you'd never see in the village. But things got strange partway through.
そうそう皆さん。
Uh-huh.
ここからは私が歩いた足跡の通りに歩くんですわよ。
は？突然何を言い出すんだ？
おとなしくさとこの言うことを聞く方が身のためなのです。
Interesting that they're purposely keeping it vague, though.
あれれ？ねえみーちゃん、ほらこれ、なんだろうね。引っ張るのかな？
Oh, don't. No. Suddenly, squeak, crash. When Rena pulled a kite string, a bundle of bamboo spears fastened to a tree branch all came raining down with a clatter right next to where Rena was standing.
何これ？何？
And down she goes.
懐かしいのですよ。これは確か2年生の2学期にさとこが作ったトラップなのです。
She was doing this in second grade.
危なかったですわね。竹襟の先端には犬の糞が塗ってありますから、傷になると後で腐り出しますわ。
It really does feel like Vietnam.
ここはいつからゲリラの戦場になったんだ？
According to Satoko and Rika-chan, earlier in elementary school, Satoko had been on trap-making craze and set them up along every inch of the mountain.
キイチくん、ひょっとして裏山が立ち入り禁止なのは迷うからじゃなくて
Yeah.
危ないからじゃないのかな。
The mountain was covered with all these weird booby traps. And especially in a town where, like, the best thing you do is you don't ask questions. People going up there getting hurt or trapped. They're like, okay, just don't go up on the mountain. Miana and I both nodded wholeheartedly at Rena's hypothesis.
先を急ぎますわよ。早く戻らないと暗くなってしまいますわ。暗くなったら私だって危ないでございますからね。
But you're the one who brought us out this crazy mountain. Why was an average healthy Japanese boy like me being forced to deal with life-threatening booby traps? And then, the very moment Satoko and Rika-chan got just out of sight was when the three of us all got caught in nice little traps together.
誰か出して！私おトイレに行きたいの！
Aww.
そんなことより誰かこのバケツ取って前が見えない。
I feel like Rena's in the more escapable position, but the bucket's like stuck. That is a problem.
おいレナ、あんまり暴れるな。パンツが見えるぞ。
見たケイチコが見た。
Oh, she's gonna start swinging. Smash, crash, smash, 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 crash, bash.
見えてるだろ絶対。バケツ。
Bucket Rena was using me as a sandbag and Mia was crying.
落とし穴から抜けられなくてかわいそうなのです。もう皆さん、だから言いましたでしょ。私から離れたらいけませんでしたよ。
Well, I'm sorry. I finally had an epiphany. Satoko had been so bent on taking everyone up on the mountain because she wanted to brag about all the traps she'd set up over the years. You could have stopped at showing them to us. I didn't need to experience how it felt firsthand. Rika-chan petted the three of our heads in sequence in an incredible, satisfied mood. Yeah, that's intense. Like, if that's really what she's capable of, that's kind of scary if you think about it. Like, the implications there are actually pretty insane. Man, I'd really want to not be on the bad side of her traps. And that's the problem, is like, knowing where this game goes, that's probably going to be an element in the future at some point. And that's going to be like, oh, she's going to go full on, like guerrilla warfare on us. And she's going to mess some people up.
さーて、というわけで、いよいよお昼の時間が来たね。
Here we go. Mion gleefully announced the beginning of lunch.
いよいよお昼の時間でしたよ。この中の一人が罰ゲームになるんですわよね。はあ、今日の罰ゲームはちょっと怖いからね。レナ、悪いけど思いっきり真剣に作ってきたよ。
I'm sure you did. Of course you did. In Rena's case, I don't think she'd even lose if she wasn't taking it seriously.
みー、僕たちもそれぞれに頑張りましたのですよ。
今日はさとこもリカちゃんもそれぞれに別々に作ってきた。いつもは2人一緒のお弁当だけど今日は一緒だと勝負にならないからね。
そこは大丈夫ですのよ。リカも私もちゃんとそれぞれに用意させていただきましたのよ。わあ、さとこちゃんもリカちゃんも頑張ったんだね。楽しみ楽しみ。
ちょっと意外だったのはケイちゃんがちゃんとお弁当を用意できた点かな。
Alright, Keiichi. What are you gonna do? You gonna be a man? Or are you gonna be a coward?
ケイちゃんもさすがやればできるみたいじゃない。
I scratched my head and gave her a dry smile. My bento today had been made entirely by Satoko last night. I had none of my personality, so there wasn't anything there that could be they could praise me for.
ケイチくんのお弁当はどんなだろう。はう、楽しみ。
そんな大したものじゃないから、夕べのご飯のお惣菜の残りが詰めてあるだけだし。
お夕食の残り物はお弁当の基本なのですよ。
Interesting.
夕べのケイチさんのお夕食も分かって一石二鳥ですわね。
So she's sending the signal that we can claim it as ours. So I guess it really it's gonna they're letting us play the game, but I feel like was it really better to hide the fact that Satoko came over and made dinner last night? Well, of course it was. If I revealed I didn't make it my own bento, I'd sure to end up playing the punishment game. Today's punishment game was to stand right in front of the curry maniac Chie-sensei and say bad things about curry. It wasn't too different from telling someone to jump out of a 100-story window. It was exactly the same as telling someone to die.
でもみーちゃん、今日のお弁当勝負ってどうやって勝敗をつけるのかな。ケイチくんもちゃんと作ってこれたんだから、今日はこれで引き分けで決着なんじゃないのかな。それもそうですわね。昨日の罰ゲームはケイチさんに自炊を促すための葉っぱみたいなものですし。ケイチもちゃんと作ってこれましたから引き分けなのですよ。
I don't think Mion's gonna let this slide, but I see the logic there and I see the play. That's good. My simple bento was last night's leftovers because none of it stood up to everyone else's bento that they made to win. I fully understood Satoko and Rika-chan's concern for me as they tried to end the showdown peaceably. But, however, the club president Mion Sonozaki would not be convinced by something like that.
何を甘っちょろいこと言ってるんだか。白黒つけない灰色勝負なんて絶対ごめん。
Yeah, I mean, this was inevitable.
ぶつかったら決着つけなきゃ。手打ちして引き分けなんてヤクザの世界だけなんだからね。
言うと思ったぜ。勝負好きのミオンがこのまま終わらせるわけないよな。
This was bad. At this rate, I was sure to be the sole loser. But well, didn't make this bento after all. Maybe I need to resign myself to my inevitable loss.
ではみー、どうやって勝敗を決めますですか？
相互採点じゃ公平な採点にならないからね。ここは公開審査と行こうじゃない。みんな全員集合！
Mion commanded everyone who had just started eating to using her club president voice.
おじさんたち5人のお弁当を採点してもらうよ。ベスト3までを紙に書いて投票すること。
Okay, you get a vote for 3.
いいかな？
Everyone in the class was used to being dragged into Mion's club activities. Yeah! Came the interject voices from here and there. Everyone already knew the showdown time and this time involved an utterly fatal punishment game. And they were all very interested in what would happen to whoever lost. Of course they wanted the thrill of seeing something terrifying.
では、みんないいかな？まずは私から行くよ。それ！
In exaggerated fashion, Mion pulled the lid off her multi-tiered ornate bento box. It's so bright! Multiple cheers of joy erupted at the brilliant sight.
すごいですわね。おせち料理みたいでしたよ。
嘘だ。嘘に決まってる。 こんなのどこかの仕出し弁当の中身を移し替えただけに違いない。こんな純日本風な料理をミヨンが園崎ミヨンが作れるわけがない。
I mean, they never said that that was against the rules.
みーちゃん、このくらいは本気になれば作れるよ。
Oh, crap.
めったに本気にならないけど。
You devious.
おじさんを誰だと思ってるわけ？時間と材料があるなら満館全席だって再現してみせるよ。
The entire classroom gulped audibly, and everyone wrote down a score in the notepad in their hands simultaneously. It made sense. Just the visual impact would give her a perfect score.
じゃあ次はレナのお弁当行ってみようか。レナもかなり料理は得意だからね。
レナのお弁当はいつも食卓の花なのですよ。
Yeah, here we go.
みんなありがとね。じゃあレナのお弁当も公開するね。
Alright.
えい。
Ah! Rena's bento was a beautiful mix of the two colors of egg and minced meat, and it too was bento staple. The Soboto bento. She had been thorough with the side dishes as well. They were abundant in number. She had spent more time than usual on it, but it was unassumingly and truly nonchalant. One couldn't ignore a household warmth in it that Mion's bento lacked.
さすがですわね。これは高得点が期待できましたよ。
さすが。厳しめに見ても減点の余地は全くないね。相変わらず見事。
Once again, everyone of the judges wrote down a score on their note paper at the same time. There seemed to be someone who were revising their opinions when they compared it to Mion's score too. The whole classroom seemed split between Mion and Rena, and on everyone's faces it was clear that they all wanted to be tasting them, so rather than scoring them.
では続いて僕たちなのです。では公開するでございますわよ。
Come to think of it, Sakoto and Rika-chan ate with me last night at my house. I was impressed that they still made a bento. Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Rena's perfection. However, because of that, you could sense from them how hard they worked. Toppings were a little on the rough side, but you could still feel that they tried their hardest. That's probably what mine would look like. It'd look decently cobbled together, but a little rough. It made you feel a little biased that you'd give them more points. A few people stuck by just once again revised their opinions and wrote scores on their note paper.
サトコもリカちゃんもよく今日のお弁当を用意できたもんだな。レナやミオンの出来には確かに劣るかもしれないけど、それを考えるとかなりすごいことだぜ。
Satoko and Rika-chan glanced at each other and grinned happily.
実は内緒でございますのよ。くにょくにょくにょくにょ。
What? When Satoko told me, I broke off from the others and secretly looked for my classmates' bento boxes. There, Tomotaka-kun and Okumura-kun's bento box. There, Tomotaka-kun and Okumura-kun's bento boxes. I took a quick peek inside and... Ah! Half the contents were missing! Not bad! In the end, Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't been in bento today. A bold move. They got to Tomotaka-kun and Okumura-kun to share their bentos with them. Which makes sense. Oh, because remember, they were the boys that the last time, they revealed they had crushes on them. So I wonder if they use that, like, they purposely use that, or if they just, happened to stumble upon them.
おい、富田くん、岡村くん、何を条件に買収された？
いきなり何ですか、前原さん。
Shut up!
私たちがいつ何を買収されたって言うんですか。そうっすよ。別にサトコたちに水やり当番を代わってもらうくらいで弁当を半分なんか。
Curse you, Satoko! What an impudent trick. Satoko grinned, showing me her fang-like canines, and laughed in triumph.
あら、これはケイチさんに学ばせてもらった技ですのよ。
It's true. So maybe that's why they targeted them, not because they they know the boys have crushes on them, but because they know that they can be manipulated, because they saw that Keiichi could do it. That's cute. Hey, how naive buying them out with watering duty alone. Hey, man, if you're gonna buy them out, you need to use something a lot more spicier than that. For example, like giving them 3 tickets to walk Sakoto and Rika-chan around like dogs all day, with them on all fours, wearing tails and with lashes around their necks. Oh, that might be enough to get me to do anything. As I was lost in the wild fantasies, Mion clapped me on the shoulder and called me back to reality. Dang, it's just getting good. You stop it.
さて、次はいよいよケイちゃんのお弁当だね。ケイちゃんの昨日の予告だとかなりのものが期待されるけど、実際はどうなのかな？
We all know where this is going.
ケイチくんってやるときにはやる人だからね。レナ、今日はとっても楽しみにしてたんだよ。
They're all looking forward to it. But it really is just leftovers from dinner last night. Didn't even make it either. How was that supposed to stand up to Mion, Rena, and the others?
もうやけだ。見て驚くなよ。
It went black instead of white. I tore the lid off my bento box. There weren't very many cheers. Well, I guess there wouldn't be.
ケイチくんも精一杯頑張ったんだね。レナはその頑張りわかるよ。
レナ、無理に褒めなくていいぞ。
どんな具合ですの？ケイチさんにしては頑張ってる方ですの？
まあ頑張りは認めてあげたいけどね。勝負は非常だしね。
Yeah, we know. Mion's cold, mean laugh. It was like I spoke for everyone's opinion, just like that.
ケイチくん、初挑戦なのにこんなに上手に作れたんだよ。みんなもっともっと評価してあげてもいいと思うんだけどな。でも、勝負は非常なのです。
さーてケイちゃん、採点結果を集計する前に何か申し開きがあるなら聞いておくけど。
Aren't we gonna see him do another miracle spin? I don't think so.
申し開きってなんだよ。
ケイちゃんがここで何かを訴えることでわずかな得点加算が望めるかもしれないってこと。何しろ今日の勝負はビリでさえなければいいんだから、うまくすればなんとか罰ゲームから逃れることができるかもよ。
I don't think he should. I mean, because the problem is that if he does, it'll be at the expense of Satoko or Rika-chan. That's just not great.
それって兄、ケイチさんのお弁当がビリって言ってるのと同じことでしたよ。
別におじさん、誰の弁当がビリなんて言ったつもりはないんだけどな。
Mion cackled repulsively. In contrast, Satoko's smile was growing somewhat awkward. Oh, right. That bento was filled with last night's side dishes. That means it was basically a bento that Satoko made. And Mion outright said it would come in last place.
みーちゃん、ちょっと意地悪だよ。ケイチくんがかわいそう。
レーナ、ケイちゃんも今日の弁当勝負は負けられないってあらかじめ知ってたんだよ。
Okay, so inadvertently, like they're kind of picking on Keiichi, but inadvertently it's going straight to Satoko. Yeah, that's not fun.
それを承知で昨日あれだけの大見栄を切ったんだからさ、甘やかす必要なんて全然ないと思うけどな。ねえ、さとこ。
ええ、そうですわね。それでこのざまなんですから笑っちゃいましたよ。
Oh, I don't like that.
ちょっとさとこちゃん、笑うなんていけないんだよ。だって、ちゃんちゃらおかしくて笑ってしまうようなお弁当でしたよ。
Come on, dude, you gotta speak up and be like, no, it's earnest, and it was the best of what I could pull together, and I like it. Come on,
こ
man.
んなお惣菜屋さんで買ってきたようなおかず、本当に幻滅もいいところでしたよ。
No, no, look, she's crying.
ほら、これなんか缶詰を開けただけだよね。こっちのキュウリは包丁が通ってなくて綺麗に切れてない。
God, shut up!
ケイちゃん、包丁とか全然扱ったことないでしょ。経験不足が明らかなんだよね。
Stop it.
経験不足のいいところでございましたよ。
No, this sucks. Stop. Keiichi, shut them up, please.
こればかりはセンスのなさに呆れるね。
Like, you be like, stop. Just, no.
そりゃ弁当箱に食い物を詰めるなんて初めての経験だし、多少見栄えが悪いのは仕方が。
ケイちゃん、弁当箱への詰め方以前のレベルなの。富田、岡村、解説。
Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun were chosen from our many underclassmen. Tomita-kun quickly adjusted his glasses and took a step forward.
前原さんのお弁当に致命的な欠点、それは彩りなんです。ご存知の通り、あらゆる色彩の根底には三原色と呼ばれる配色が
God, this
存
doesn't
在し
feel
ま
like
す。
a conversation kids have.
つまりバランスよく配色を求めるなら白、黒を除いても3色は必要なのです。しかるに前原さんのお弁当は白黒を除いた場合、暗緑色しか残らないんですよ。
Ah, dark green. No one will want to eat if you describe it like that. I'd forgotten. Tomitaka-kun and Okumura-kun had been bought out by Rika-chan and Satoko, so they were trying their hardest to let them win and make me lose, weren't they? God, what strong wills they have. It was charming, if only because they were working so hard despite having been bought out.
おかずも心のこもらないお惣菜や缶詰ばかり。つまり前原さんのお弁当にはお弁当の三大要素、愛、心、味のうち2つも欠けていると断
God,
言
I'm
できる
gonna
のです。
kill Satoko with that. Stop! The classroom, convinced by the eradication of the mystery that they were thoroughly baffled with, raised mysterious groans of admiration.
愛もなければ心もない。決まったね、前原圭一。
ちょっと冷たいけど、でもこれを機に圭一くんもお料理の楽しさに気づいてくれればいいのかな。そんなことより罰ゲームが僕以外なら何でもいいのですよ。
That's a fair way. Rano was giving a dry smile as well.
決まりましたわね、圭一さん。罰ゲームは圭一さんで決まりですのよ。
She laughed in such a vile manner, but didn't look like she meant it. I knew that Satoko was speaking ill of a bento she'd practically made herself in front of the whole classroom, and I could tell how painful that after was. Okumura-kun said before this bento lacked spirit, but among all the bento laid out here today, there wasn't a single one with as much spirit as this one. This meal, that she made for me yesterday, was in such a good mood, though it looked like she was in a bad one. I won't let it end to this slander. Good man!
さて、ビリの圭一さん、そろそろおとなしく負けを認めなさいませ。
ちょっと待ってもらおうか。
When I began to speak in a low voice, the expressions of all the members of the club changed. Mion clicked her tongue. This man was baring his fangs at the last moment again.
俺の弁当の敗因はそういう解説だったな。間違いないな、岡村君。
Okumura-kun said that he had suddenly been placed in the spotlight, looked flustered for a moment, but immediately he stammered to reply that I was right.
心の定義は何だ？
Oh,
黒か？
look at that. I don't feel we haven't seen the Keiichi in like a prominent pose before in a while. It looks like he's doing. It looks like it's specifically though calling out well, what's the it's the visual novel series about the lawyer guy. Oh shoot, I know this. I haven't played the game though. Ace Attorney? That's it, Ace Attorney.
努力か？汗か涙か？その結晶か？ならば俺の手に残るこの火傷は何の評価になるんだ？
圭一くん、それ油が跳ねたやけど？
Great, the burn marks from when I almost caused the fire yesterday looked just like I was having a ton of trouble cooking. I could clearly tell the classroom was forced to acknowledge the effort I put in.
ほう、自らの料理の下手さによる失敗をさも努力の痕跡であるかのように見せるとは、やはりこの男油断ならない。
そうだ、俺は下手だ。昨日大見栄を切ったのが情けなくなるくらいに料理は下手だ。戦った、そしてこの成果を出した。それは心じゃないのか？どうなんだ？
レナは認めてあげたいな。挑戦する心が評価されなかったら誰も前に進めない。
The girls in the class started to nod in agreement. Okay, the tables are turning. But Tomitaka-kun and Okumura-kun bought out the objects of their unrequited affection and weren't about to lose either. They shifted their counterattack, clearly exceeding the price they would pay.
なるほど。 前原さんの気持ちはわかります。ですがね、心だけで料理が決まるんだったらこの世にコックはいらないんですよ。
I do think he's got you there.
そうっすよ。心を込めて頑張りましたって言ってコックが消し炭みたいなハンバーグを持ってきたらそれ払わないですよね。つまりそういうことなんです。
That's right. That's how it goes. The male students looked at Tomita and Okamaru's side. God, they did have a point.
でも心尽くしなんだぞ。たとえ真っ黒のハンバーグが出てきたにせよ、それを作ってくれた母の苦労を知るなら俺は食う。完食してみせる。
Clap, 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 clap. This time, the female students of the class took my side. Good. Now we're even.
そもそもお弁当というのは愛情を食事の形として昇華させたもので、それは相手に伝わって初めて意味があるんです。前原さんのお弁当からはそれが伝わりますか？いいえ、僕には伝わりません。
It should.
ひどい。
Oh, the girls in the class began to boo loudly at his remark. Now even Okubara-san was panicking.
静粛に傍観人は発言を慎むように。
裁判長、俺はここでこの弁当にどれだけの心が込められているかについて料理学の権威竜宮レナ氏の証言を求めます。
Oh, you gonna have her taste it?
レナはこのお弁当には心がこもってると思うな。確かに稚拙なところは多いかもしれないけど、でもお料理は上辺だけじゃないと思うの。
The girls in the class again gave cries of support as they all applauded. In response, all the men in the class began to boo.
裁判長、前原さんと竜宮さんの意見は極めて感情的で一般常識としてかけ離れています。
He's got a point there.
採用するには不適切です。
静粛に検察側の反証を認め
The
ます。
prosecution's objection. It is a courtroom.
どうぞ。
例えば本件をお弁当ではなく誕生日のプレゼント、例えば誕生日の日に私富田が手編みのセーターをもらったとする。
Yeah.
そして彼岡村は図書券を1万円分もらったとする。
That felt strangely real. Was it actually just an example?
常識的に考えてどちらに心がこもっているかは明白です。
And knitted sweater.
つまり手編みのセーター、これはお弁当に言い換えれば手作りのおかずが相当する。そして単なる金券に過ぎない図書券はお金で買うもの、すなわち無味簡素な缶詰に相当する。
Murmur. The boys and girls all began to argue amongst themselves about presents. They were all talking about what they received as presents in the past. Dang it. Tamataka-kun, he changed the subject to something that could easily grab everyone's attention. Not bad. I'll lose to the initiative at this rate.
意義あり。本件はお弁当の心について問うものです。誕生日のプレゼントという特殊な状況とは全く異なります。
却下します。
I would, like, if I were to argue that, I'd argue being like, so does the gift of a 100,000 yen coupon invalidated because the person who gave the coupon had no means of crafting a hand-knitted sweater? Because you can't just say that people who can't make hand-knitted sweaters can't express love. That means they have to use different tools and whatever they have access to. And if somebody's better at making money than they are making sweaters, then giving money is the spirited gift.
検察側、続けなさい。
Dang it!
さて、ここで大事なのは送り手の心と受け手の心は全く違うという点です。皆さんの目の前に実際に手作りのちょっと左右の丈の崩れてるセーターと図書券でしょ。1万円ですよ、1万円。コミックスが何冊買えるか計算できますか？
That's fair, but you're getting a little distracted.
十数巻程度の単行本なら即座にフルコンプ可能です。愉快で面白おかしい漫画が何十冊。これによって癒される心の至福とセーターでは比べ物にならないのです。
The boys unanimously praised that with applause. Materialistic brats? Ugh, but all guys that age are like that. Even I would choose a gift certificate over a sweater in that case. Hey, wait, weren't you guys the ones who said about the love and spirit and taste right at the start? Since when did the taste trump all? That's the stance we were taking now?
以上より送り手の心と受け手の心には何の因果関係もないことが立証されたと思います。つまり前原さんがどれだけ苦労してお弁当を作ろうとも、それは私たち受け手が採点に手心を加えるものにはなり得ないのです。
あ
それは詭弁だぞ富田君。心は確かにある。それが伝わるかどうかは受け手の問題だ。
そうよそうよ。味が全てだ。
Enemy of women!
なんだと
that took it escalated quickly. Now the cat room's in chaos. But I can't allow myself to lose. And not only to avoid the punishment game, but also to protect Satoko's honor.
さて
Of course, like, ironically, he's gonna try really hard. What if he actually succeeds in not losing, but makes Satoko lose instead? So she loses anyway.
弁護側は今のに何か反論はある？
Slowly and strongly, I nod and take a step up on the dais. Toмотaka-kun, Okumura-kun, do you two really think you can beat me with mere words?
今検察側は送り手の心とは無関係に評価が行われると言いました。それに間違いはありませんね。
At this point, I began speaking formally.
そうです。前原さんがどんなに苦労して作ったお弁当でもその苦労は評価の対象にはなり得ない。
では検察側に尋ねます。私前原が今日の自分の弁当としてこのお弁当とコンビニ弁当を並べたらその評価はどちらも同じものなのですか？
The prosecution hesitated to speak. Got you.
そう、手作りの弁当とコンビニ弁当では全く比較にならないのです。どんなにひどい手作り弁当であってもただ買ってきただけのコンビニ弁当とでは比べ物にならないほどの心が込められている。そしてそれは評価されている。つまり手作りによる心はちゃんと受け手に伝わってるのです。それを認めよう。
He's got you, at least a little bit. I don't know if it's enough to win, but it's a decent point. Boom. With those impactful words drawn into the air behind me, I pointed my finger. The girls, led by Rena, broke into applause. Some of the boys were admiring it too.
認めます。
認めましたね。認めましたね。では次にコンビニ弁当にはなぜ心がないかについて移りましょう。そもそも弁当で伝える心とは何なのか。
意義あり。前原さんは抽象表現で法廷を煙に巻こうとしています。
I don't know, it doesn't feel very abstract to me.
却下します。面白そうだから最後まで聞くように。
Got them. Now I'll show you the the difference between us.
裁判長、ここでフルで理科士を証人として喚問したいと思います。
Okay.
Me.
Even for Rika-chan, that must have seemed like a bolt like a bolt from the blue. There's no doubt that she's never dreamed the point of my spear would be aiming at her. But Rika-chan, you said it before. For this showdown, it doesn't matter.
フルで理科さん、あなたの今日のお弁当は実によくできていますね。美味しそうです。
Me?
Yes. Satoko and Rika-chan's bentos have been made for half of Toмотaka-kun's and Okumura-kun's. The prosecutors' faces turned pale, but they were too late.
レナ、岡村くんの弁当箱を持ってきてくれないか。
Oh!
いいよ。
裁判長、本件に僕のお弁当は何の関係もありません。
却下します。
Oh, you saw, huh?
裁判長、この岡村くんの弁当箱を証拠品として提出します。見よ、この中身を。
ん半分しか入っていないね。
半分かどうかじゃないでしょう。もっとよく見てください。ほら。
ああ、全く同じ内容だ。
裁判長、見ての通りです。フルで理科士のお弁当は岡村くんの盗品。
Not stolen, freely given.
そんなものに 心がこもってるわけがない。
Oh, snap though.
いやこれは単なる偶然で。
もう明白でしょう。心とは送り手と受け手のキャッチボールならば、弁当箱はボールに当たるのです。そして本来このお弁当は彼、岡村君の母親から息子に託されたものだから、この弁当箱に詰まった心は彼、岡村君にしか受けられない。
I don't know. If you use someone else's like bento box from another parent, I think that's you can kind of get it. But yeah, it's way different if it was never meant for you.
それを割り込んで奪ったら、もうそれに心はないのです。
Dun dun dun. Yeah, that did it.
あれそうなの？リカちゃん、そうなの？
Oh wait. Ironically, though, that also invalidates his own bento box because it was, well, actually no, it was made for him by Satoko. So actually no, it is spirit there.
みーパ
なるほどね。
Mion, the judge, folded her arms and began to hum. I couldn't even take a guess as to what Mion was laughing about. Frankly, I didn't know whether I would win or lose.
よし、判決の前に主文からにしようかね。
Shh. The entire classroom quieted.
まず、被告、前原圭一の弁当が、客観的評価として非常に出来の悪いものであるのは間違いない。
Oh.
それはこうして、みんなの採点の集計結果が物語ってるからね。
God.
でも、ケイちゃんの言う通り、料理は味だけじゃない。心もまた隠し味として認められるべきだよね。でもそれは、得点評価で言えば小数点以下。本当に微細なもので、その出来具合の評価を改めるには至らない。
So by that logic, a bento ordered from the shop would be better. Grr.
さて、ここでそもそもの今日の弁当勝負の原点を探りたい。そもそも、今日の
Uh-oh.
勝負は何が大前提なのか。
Uh-oh.
そう。被告、前原圭一が自炊できるか否かが問題になり、その成果を測るために催されたものだった。
I think she knows.
そうだよ。ケイチ君はちゃんと作ってきたよ。
That stung my conscience a bit, but for the showdown it didn't matter.
ならば、この勝負の大前提は自炊、すなわち手作りであるか否かだよね。でもリカちゃんはそれを怠ったとなると、すなわち失格ってことになるのかな。
Oh, fetch.
ニパ
Rika-chan let out Nipa, looking as though she had prepared herself for this outcome.
悪く思うなよ、リカちゃん。部活は非常なのだ。
さすがケイイチなのです。最後の最後まで頑張りましたですよ。
Rika-chan demanded I lower my head and she pat it.
というわけで、これにて一件落着。今日のビリはフルでリカ。
Phew. That miraculous turnaround. And last place went to Rika-chan, the one everyone had least expected. The whole classroom went wild.
よくもこんなひどいお弁当でビリを免れましたのね。
Satoko looked at me hatefully, but spoke in a vague kind of voice.
ビリになんかなるわけないだろ。この弁当のどこにビリになる要素があるってんだ。
That's my man. Good answer.
だってこんな出来の悪いお惣菜や缶詰ばかりでセンスもなくて、それから
No, it's good. Grab. Satoko was speaking more and more poorly about herself as time went on, so I roughly grabbed her head and began to stroke it.
言ったろ、心が大事だって。この弁当は上辺だけじゃない。いろんな味に溢れてるんだぜ。
でも心だけじゃありませんのよ。お味なんて全然変で。
It's harder to tell she's crying with that Sprite. Easier with that one.
どこが変なんだ。俺はうまい。うまかった。だから詰めてきた。本当に夕べの飯がまずかったら詰めてなんか来ないぞ。食パンと牛乳パックを持って登校してくる。
Yeah.
でも
Oh, just shut up already. I caressed her head, swinging it from side to side. At some point, Ren had come up behind us. She was giggling to herself. That was the face of someone who had known everything from the beginning.
いつ頃から俺が作ったんじゃないって気づいてた？
圭一くんがやけどを見せてくれた時かな。
Ah, gosh, she's so clever.
だって圭一くんのお弁当に油で炒めるおかずなんか入ってないし。
That's a really good point.
レナさんは何か誤解してるではございませんの？私は別に何も。あれ？このお弁当、さとこちゃんが作ったんじゃないんだ。じゃあやっぱり圭一くんの手作りなのかな？うん。じゃあ圭一くんの手作りなんだね。
Rihanna smiled roguishly and turned from Satoko to me.
きゅうりとかを切るときは包丁をほらこんな感じで引くの。彩りなんかはね、お野菜を上手に加えるといろいろ表現ができるんだよ。
This lecture was clearly not meant for me.
でも前に見せてもらった時よりもずっと上達してたよ。
Aww.
ちゃんとお勉強してるんだね。きっとこの調子ならもっともっと上手にお料理が作れるようになるよ。
Aww. She continued saying words clearly meant for Satoko while facing me instead. Satoko was wearing an ambiguous look and couldn't even nod her head at her.
とにかく誰が何と言おうと俺は今日の弁当を気に入ってるんだ。今日ばかりは誰にも分けないからな。俺が一人で全部食う。
あ、ケチなんだ。レナも食べてみたいな。
As we were going back and forth, Satoko rubbed her eyes as though she was drowsy, then announced to Mion and everyone else.
私も実は富田さんにお弁当を分けてもらいましたの。
バカ北条、なんで言っちゃうんだよ。
If she'd kept a secret, then at least she would have been saved. Tomita-kun looked at her with an expression filled with regret and surprise.
そうだったの？ほんと？ありゃー。
Mion spun her finger around and pointed the hallway, sentencing Satoko to the punishment game as well. Satoko left the classroom behind her, completely prepared, as though she was going with Rika-chan on an errand.
リカだけに行かせられませんわ。
Aw, that's some solidarity.
地獄の底までお付き合いしましたよ。
Aw. I wonder how literal that's gonna be later. Accompany her to the very depths of hell.
そんなとこまでついてこなくていいのですよ。まったく圭一さんも嫌味ですわね。リカだけを晒し者にするなんて本当に意地悪な人でございますこと。
I didn't mean... I couldn't just return Satoko's kindness with malice.
ね、本当にサトコはおバカさんなのですよ。
Rika-chan spoke out sullenly. I could hear grinning happily.
ではそろそろ行きましてよリカ。罰ゲームも部活メンバーの務めでございますわ。
Satoko seemed awfully happy, not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she'd lost. Dang. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron, including us. We're all idiots here.
ミオ、俺も白状するぞ。
Oh boy.
今日の弁当は俺が作ったんじゃない。俺も同じだ。だから行ってくるぞ。罰ゲーム。
まで
If I watch Biel like steps up, she's just like, okay, fine, I did buy this. And it's going to be like, am I the only one who made the bento?
どうなってんの？
頑張ってね。罰ゲーム。救急箱を用意して待ってるからね。
あらかじめ救急車の
Come on, ambulance.
場合によっては霊柩車だな。
Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happy smiling Greta behind the classroom, I went into the hallway.
何やってるんですの？せっかく買ってたのに。わざわざ罰ゲームに名乗りを上げるなんて物好きにも程があるでございましたよ。
そうだな。物好きにも程があるぜ。
まったく今日の罰ゲームを甘く見すぎですのよ。私たちならともかく圭一さんじゃ大変なことになってしまうかもしれませんわね。
And we'll deal with it together.
肋骨の1本や2本の覚悟は終わりでしょうね。
肋骨は痛そうだな。俺痛いのはダメなんだ。
圭一さんはおとなしく私の相槌を打っているんですのよ。
She's like, look, I'm pretty sure Rika could talk her out of it. Just be quiet.
私とリカでうまくやりますから。まったく罰ゲームの面倒まで私が見なくちゃダメなんて。まったく。
I already knew that her pouty behavior was a sign that she was actually in a really good mood. So it made me want to smile.
なあ、俺さ、野菜炒めが食いたいんだけど、さとこ作れるか？
は？ はできないことはありませんわよ。上手に作れますですよ。
Nice. Yeah. Maybe that could be our thing too. Like maybe while our parents are gone, we just have them over for dinner. We just like have dinner together.
さとこの野菜炒めは大好きなのです。
She was uneasy at first, but once she got assurance from Rika-chan, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident eyes.
じゃあ決まりだな。今日学校が終わったらいろいろ買い物に行こうぜ。
Aw, that's sweet.
俺じゃあ何を買えばいいのか全然わかんないし。
それもそうですわね。圭一さんじゃスーパーでお買い物なんてまだまだ早いでしょうし、私が見てなければ不安ですからね。そのさとこも僕が見てないと間違えたお買い物をしちゃうんじゃないかと不安なのです。
So we'll just bumble our way together.
リカみー。
The conversation continued as we walked until we arrived before the door of the teacher's lounge.
さて罰ゲームなんかちゃっちゃと済ませて今晩の献立の話でもしようぜ。
Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Satoko to me, grabbing her shoulder with my other hand.
死ぬときゃみんな一緒だぜ。
Oh, don't say things like that. We'll all be together in death.
誰も一人でなんか死なせない。
みんなで一緒です。誰も一人でなんか死なせないのです。不謹慎な話ですわね。
And indiscreet.
私はそんな物騒なのごめんですわよ。
She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was going to make me blush.
よし、この扉一枚向こうは死後の世界だぞ。みんなで戻るぞ。みんなでだ。
みんなでですわよ。では行きますわよ。
Sally forth. Slam. We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Chie-sensei was eating curry for lunch. I could even see it in the picture there. It was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brandy every day.
あら、前原くんに古出さんに北条さん、どうかしましたか？
She appeared to be in the middle of a moment of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. And we were picking a fight with her. What a crime the punishment game would be. However, it was what we had to do. For that, it was the rule of our club. The three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more.
じゃあ行くぜ。いいか。
いいかじゃありませんわ。圭一さんはおとなしくしてるんですのよ。
Yeah, you
すべて私とリカでやりますから、私に今だけ命をお預け遊ばせ。ファイト、おーですよ。
あなたたち？
We could see 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko. This is the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll have for dinner. I'm leaving it to you. Satoko inhaled deeply. And so...
やーいカレー独身貴族、ニンニク臭いぞ。
Oh! You went for a personal attack? Yeah, we're dead. We're just dead. And that's the end of the story. That the curse? We just died to curry mama right there? In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. Alright, and that's where we're going to end things for today. Thank you so much for joining me. The Curry Wars... Well, not the Curry Wars. Like, the Bento Box Wars and the Treaty of the Curry have finally concluded. So thank you so much for being here for that. That was very sweet. I very much liked that. That was one of the more interesting interactions in games that we've seen. Like, being able to have the play out with, like, how he wasn't able to even remotely cook dinner for himself. And so Rika-chan and Satoko came by, they kind of all did stuff together. They still played the game, still had some drama and stuff, but in the end, kind of like morality and I think what was ultimately right kind of won in the end, where it wasn't so much about screwing each other over, but actually having some solidarity. I wonder if that's going to be a bit more of a theme of this one, is that kind of sense of solidarity, of sticking up for each other despite like through thick and thin, despite like having good reason to abandon each other. I wonder if that's going to be a part of it, because it feels like a lot of times the early game is doing some setup, not just like with lore and like the what the characters are actively doing, but also with the themes of some of the games that they play. I think they tend to be, at least maybe not in the first chapter, because I think it's just introducing games, but in the second and third, and now the third, I wonder if these games are also directly tied to some of the relationships that we get to explore in the chapter. So that'll be interesting. Hope you enjoyed that episode. It was very fun, very chill, kind of calm, and enjoyable. So I think we'll wait, and then next time we'll kind of see how things progress for the next episode. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you had a good time. I certainly did. It was really fun reading all your comments in these episodes, and while I know that you're not going to, or hopefully you won't do any spoilers, please refrain from spoilers. But regardless of that, it's still really fun to read your thoughts and how so many of you really were impressed by this one out of the many chapters that we get to play. This one apparently left a lot of you with an impression, so I'm really excited to see what I think of it when it comes down to it. And I'm just grateful you spent your time here and enjoying the story with me. So thank you for that. Especially to patrons and members, you're wonderful. Thank you for your direct support. I'm going to do my best to utilize whatever the access to funds and support you give me just to go directly back to the channel to cover costs and try and upgrade things and try and make things better on the channel as a whole. I'm going to keep pushing for that and trying to do the best that I can, and hopefully we'll be able to make some good progress there. But it means the world to me, so thank you. And until the next video you're watching me, I hope to see me in next. I'll see you there.